I'm previously the comptroller for the state of New Jersey, having worked in that capacity under multiple governors. And before that, I was a federal prosecutor. And it was a real honor to be asked to look into the solar energy project. And so I do appreciate the opportunity to deliver here tonight the results of our independent investigation concerning the solar project. With me is Stephen Yanis, who provided tremendous assistance during the course of this project. We've provided you today with a 60-plus page report, which follows from the correspondence that we've had over the course of this project. I'm happy to provide some highlights this evening of our results. In short, we have found that Sussex County was the victim of negligence, misconduct, and various other failings by multiple parties over the course of the solar project. The administration of this project was truly a perfect storm of incompetence, and this county was the victim of that incompetence. Problems with construction of the solar facilities themselves resulted from a combination of factors, including the crash of the market for solar energy credits, personnel turnover at your construction contractor, issues at construction sites that caused change orders, cost overruns and delays, confrontations between contractors on the project, and the need to move quickly through these challenges and various other complicated legal issues in light of very tight federal grant deadlines. But many of the significant and most significant failures here happened before construction ever began on this project. First, county agents and representatives simply failed to understand the significant risks associated with this project. Though county decision makers were repeatedly assured about the supposed low-risk nature of this project, actually, in reality, this project was highly speculative, particularly in its dependence on the volatile market for solar energy credits. No one at the county had an understanding of the operation of that market or its speculative nature. And no one at the county made any effort to become adequately informed about that market or to look into ways to mitigate the related risks or reinsure the related financial risks. Similarly, from a legal standpoint, perhaps because of the tremendous complexity of the operative legal documents that have been drafted by third parties and perhaps were intentionally made particularly complicated, no one at the county understood the nuances of the solar transaction itself or the ways in which the county faced legal and other risks. And these conclusions are manifest in the interviews that we conducted, in the tens of thousands of pages of documents we reviewed, in the thousands of emails that we reviewed. This was a risky investment. It was a risky investment that went bad, as some risky investments do. But the decision makers in this county were never presented with what those risks were, and no one made any responsible attempt to mitigate those risks. Even though the county faced that financial risk, and the county was basically underwriting this entire project, the county was so removed from this transaction from a legal and contractual standpoint that, in a legal sense, the county became little more than an observer of this project, unable to affect project performance. As a result, when there were problems with contractor performance, the county was simply not in a position to effectively respond. The county made no effort to vet the qualifications of the professionals supposedly acting on its behalf, and the county came to find that it had little control over them, as those professionals had been engaged first and foremost by another entity, the Morris County Improvement Authority, and not by Sussex County. County officials reported to us in the interviews that we conducted that they had difficulty even getting truthful information from those professionals or have them respond to requests for information. Significantly, the county made no effort to reinsure the tremendous risk that it was taking on. And I want to give a specific example in this sense to give everyone a flavor of this. I think that the best example here is seen in the deficiencies of the performance bond that was posted on this project, which in theory should have been the county's source of financial security on this project. When you have a public project and the contractor goes belly up or the project collapses, there's a bond that's posted that the government can call on to get somebody else to come in and fix the project or otherwise pay for its losses. That bond should have been a source of financial security here. In this case, the performance bond that was posted, the county was not even listed as a beneficiary on that bond. The Morris County Improvement Authority was. So this county, even though it was underwriting this project, did not have the power to invoke that bond. Moreover, under the project documents, the county was 3 levels away from a contractual standpoint from the only company whose default could trigger invocation of the bond. In other words, the county did not have a contract of any kind with the company who posted the bond. Arguably, that party, therefore, owed the county nothing. And that entity, moreover, was not even a party to the contract that was listed in the performance bond as that party would have to default on in order for the MCIA to invoke the bond. The performance bond, in short, was a mess. And no one at the county was aware of any of these issues. Several years into the project, the county council at that time did not even have a copy of the executed performance bond. And it's that bond that's intended to be the financial security here. These were major failings. Nor did county officials have enough experience with a complex project like this to be in a good position to manage it. Through the course of much of this project, there was simply not enough expertise brought to bear from the county's perspective when solar decisions were being made. That expertise was lacking from a legal perspective, from a financial perspective, and in terms of understanding the solar energy market itself. Employees at the county who could have assisted or at least advised the county as to what outside resources would be needed to assist, they were cordoned off from this transaction, perhaps intentionally so they would not oppose it. This included county facility personnel, engineering personnel, and purchasing personnel who typically would have been involved in a project like this at the county, but in this project they were not. So, when the request for proposals was first put out for this project, and only one response was provided by the entire marketplace of solar companies, no one involved in this project here expressed, or perhaps had an interest in expressing, a concern as to what that might mean about price competition or the viability of the project structure. As one county witness that we interviewed acknowledged, receiving only one response to the RFP was, quote, a prescription for failure. No one here sought to understand at the time why the many companies in the booming solar energy business declined the opportunity to participate in this particular project. A Sussex County evaluation team was created to evaluate any proposals received and make a recommendation as to the contract award. But 9 of the 12 members of that evaluation team were outside professionals who stood to gain financially if the county moved forward with the project. The other 3, each of whom were county employees, despite being listed on the document as evaluation team members, each stated to us that they had no awareness that they supposedly had been part of this team. They were not involved in the review, even though they were listed as being involved. You put all that together, and of course, the evaluation team's October 2011 recommendation was an emphatic one to proceed. The recommendation stated that the proposal received, quote, virtually eliminated the potential for a Sussex deficiency. And that obviously rings hollow to everyone in this room, $26 million in costs later. No one at the county made any responsible attempt to serve as a project manager or a point of accountability on the project, or to ensure that someone else was doing so. As the county council from that time period said to us with regard to the project vendors, quote, "We were not sure what we were paying for." While county employees stated to us that the Morris County Improvement Authority's energy consultant was performing the project manager function, in an interview we conducted with a vice president there who worked on the project, stated that actually the company was not performing that role. Instead of bringing proper expertise to this complicated project, the county relied on third parties whose fiduciary responsibilities to the county were unclear at best. The county became completely reliant, for example, on counsel for the Morris County Improvement Authority for project information and related assessments. As the person who was the freeholder director at the time succinctly noted in our interview with him, quote, "In hindsight, we could have been better stewards of many things." Even after the legal settlement with the contractors was arrived at, this project continued to face substantial and frustrating challenges and delays, as described in our report. Our written report also goes through in detail the origins of the solar project, found in a November 2010 dinner meeting. And the report explains how this project, in the wake of that meeting, came to be approved by the county, even though initially county staff had previously met with the program providers and had been so unimpressed with the project presentation, they had decided not to even present it as an option to the freeholders. The report that we've submitted here details what went wrong here and why. Ultimately, this project, which was not supposed to cost the county anything, that's the way it had been pitched to all of the people who were sitting in those chairs those years ago. This was a project that was not supposed to cost the county anything. Ultimately, is costing the county millions and will impact the county budget for years to come. I've discussed with all of you on the board extensively in closed session the county's litigation options here. We've provided an analysis of possible causes of action and related obstacles that the county would face. There are litigation options here that could lead to financial recovery. In addition to that, it is, as we would recommend to all of you, it is of great importance that internal controls and best practices are put in place at the county to ensure that the problems seen on this project never happen again, and that the county avoids further financial waste. The report we have submitted today includes 9 categories of detailed recommendations along these lines. Those recommendations speak to issues such as risk reinsurance measures, creation of a risk committee, undertaking cost-benefit analysis, contingency planning efforts, project review and approval procedures, avoiding market-based risks to public funds, effective use of legal counsel, measures designed to maintain project control, accountability measures, project management planning, marshaling of appropriate expertise and input, and preservation of rights in project documents. So I don't want to go on too long here. I'll wrap up and conclude and say that I thank you for the opportunity to assist you with this important project. In the face of possible litigation that the county may choose to pursue, it may be wise to seek further discussion at a minimum. That being said, I'm happy to respond if there are other issues that you'd like me to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boxer. Appreciate your time, effort, and energy that expended in this and for your report. Anyone from Congressman Donheimer's office here? There was? Are they still here? I don't know. Well, has some scheduling conflict and he's going to be there tonight.